Turfway Park, Friday, December 22nd, 2023. Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time. I'm your host, Al. Early in the morning right now, 4:30 in the morning Eastern Time. I woke up about a half hour ago, and as usual, the first thing that popped into my mind was horses, to be more specific, horse racing. Then I thought about what tracks are running today, and if I do a show, what track am I going to be covering? And I thought, okay, yeah, let me get another hour of sleep or whatever, but I couldn't do it. I actually woke up closer to 3:30 or so. I tried to fall back asleep, but then I was thinking about racing. I was thinking about the horses. I was thinking about the tracks, and it was going to be fruitless. I was not going to be able to fall back asleep. So I got up, and a little before 4, threw on a pot of coffee to brew, and started looking over the tracks and who was running and what were the options. What did the cards look like? I went to the DRF website. And then I was intrigued by the Turfway Park card, right? And the coffee's here. Today's coffee, 4 Sigmatic mushroom coffee, boosts mental clarity. And hey, what better at this hour? Yeah, I just fell out of bed and started looking, got the data downloaded for it. I landed on Turfway Park. That's the one I really wanted to look at. So I gathered up the data, put on the coffee, and here we are. So, I mean business when that's the way I address the horse racing. When I'm going to play and when I'm going to do a show, I start looking over the cards early in the morning. 4 Sigmatic mushroom coffee. Nice. I kept the chat open. I don't expect anyone to be here at this hour, but I give that option. I put that option out there. Maybe somebody has a question about a horse, and I can help fill somebody in on the horses. And so I'm starting to. I haven't looked at the card, but I have downloaded the data, and the field sizes at this track are just out of this world. And yesterday we covered. I did a show covering Gulfstream Park. It was a nice looking card. There was some surprises, and I was thinking about Gulfstream today, and I looked at the Gulfstream card, and I'm like, hey, maybe I'll pop on for a few races, but I got a lot to do today and running around to do. Yeah, Christmas is a few days away. There are still some things I got to get. And maybe I want to do meet up with somebody later on in the day or in the middle of the day. So I figured if I do a track today, it's going to be Turfway Park because it's perfect. Post time is 5:55 p.m. Eastern time. It runs till the last race goes off, I think 9:55. So I'm going to look at this card a little bit here and see what's going on. I got the data. I've seen nothing yet. I saw some of the trainers, of course, and some of the horses, sires that are running. Got Brisnet data and some other data to look at and address these horses. So I'll talk a little bit about this card. And so here we are. Happy Friday, everybody. And I'll just give you a sample size of these field sizes here. Let me bring up this so you could look at it along with me. Let's share this screen. Where is it? Turfway Park. Share screen. All right. Just give you an example. And this is the type of track you don't really want to go in cold. It's especially important to look at. You're just looking to burn. You might as well just burn your money if you don't address these races in advance. here. Hey, Bengochia the third. Bengochia the third. Good morning, Al. Good morning. Hope your day's off to a great start. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through these here just to give you an idea of how challenging these are. And I also figured I'd look at, it's, start of the holiday weekend. Maybe I'll do a show Friday night covering Turfway. I've gotten a lot of requests on my show about Turfway. A lot of them are Turfway players because the payouts are so astronomical. It's $1,000 superfectas and gigantic payouts because it's such large fields. It's the biggest payouts really of any track in America. And all the races are run on that all-weather track, and it's a beautiful track. The Tapeta surface shimmers like gold nuggets or whatever, tiny gold nuggets. And now they're racing with pitch black. They run down the back stretch. You got the black sky and these haunting looking white trees or gray trees. That's how they appear on camera. And it's just beautiful. The tote board is magnificent. Everything about that track is fantastic, but it is so challenging because a lot of people are not familiar with the all-weather track racing, and they do ship horses in from different surfaces here, and very challenging. But just to give you an idea, look at this first race. Okay, just look at the field size. Okay, it's a maiden claiming race, cheap race, but look at this. Look at this. Race 1, 5:55 post time. 13 entries. Race 2. I mean, each race is almost the equivalent of the Preakness or the race 2, 6 furlongs claiming, cheap claimers, but 12 entries. You're not getting one of these tracks like Finger Lakes or something where you have 5 horses or 6 horses or even 8 horses. And some tracks, when they get 8 or 9 horses, you figure they have a giant field. This place just dwarfs them. 12 horses in the second race. Third race, Jaramillo Escoval is in there. Jockey. 12 entries. Fourth race. Now they have 9 races. Okay, optional claiming. This is a good one. $74,000 purse, a mile, 2-year-old race. Brendan Walsh is in here. He has it in for the claim, $50K. Brad Cox in this race. Joe Sharp in this race. Dale Romans. So the big trainers, the big talent, they come in here, and that has 12 entries. Race 5. Rich Lane. Good morning, Rich. How's it going? Good to see you. I'm thinking about doing a Turfway Park show tonight, so I'm prepping early. I got this track especially, no horsing around. The field sizes are so big. If you take a track like this race by race, you might as well just throw it a dartboard. I mean, it's hard enough even if you look at it in advance. Race 5, 6.5, another 2-year-old race. Cherie Duval, trainer in here. Brad Cox in this race. Stidham, 14 entries. Are you kidding me? Race 6, 6.5 furlongs. Cano trainer is in this race. Cano has a couple of entries. Jaramillo. Challenging. This is going to be a challenging card. I didn't look at the PPs yet. I'm just giving you an example of what's on this card here. Doing good. Good to hear, Rich. Happy Friday. Always a pleasure. Rich, some tremendous hits on the show. Who else? Okay, 12 entries there. Race 7. 3-year-old race, maiden claiming. Okay. But the good horses, it's $40K they cost if you want to claim them. The other day I was doing a parks show and they were having races, and even Gulfstream yesterday, some really cheap ones. There was a lot of the parks for entries on Wednesday were 7.5K claimers. They even had 5K race, 5K claimers. So that's really difficult because when you get these cheap horses, really cheap ones, they're so evenly matched. Even the worst ones have run some races in the past that are equivalent to the races that are fast enough to beat the favorites. You don't know which one is going to show up. And even the favorites, maybe they'll have a halfway decent last race, but the races before that were terrible. And you think, what are the chances? Is it going to repeat that race, or is it going to go back to the other way? And vice versa. The ones that have been running terrible earlier in the year, they had some races that would blow out the favorites, and it's like, are they going to pop back? You never know. They're so inconsistent. In this race, 40K claimers, and look at this field, 13 entries. So far, the smallest field has been 12 entries, and I think the highest is 14. Michael Maker has an entry in this race, the 7th race. Wesley Ward is in there. Joe Talamo is riding the 10 horse. It looks like the 10 is the favorite too with Joe Talamo. Fast and Happy 10-1. 13 entries there. Wesley Ward has 2 entries. He has also the 13. So Ward's horses look like they're the second and third choices, opening at 4-1 and 9-2. Dreamfly number 8 and Iguazu number 13. Number 13. And the last 8th race is at 1.25 miles. So that's another 13 entry race. Good morning, Rich. So now the 8th race, Declan Cannon is in this race. Machado, one of the top Tampa jockeys, is riding for Sims on number 5. Number 5 opens 5-1. Brendan Walsh, trainer of number 1. You got the names here. You got the talent here. Stidham, Global Sensation, 10-1. Cano, number 13. Another 14-horse entry. Oh, brother. And the 9th race, cheap one. Here they go for this is an interesting track. They have decent purses, higher purses. To put things into perspective, there are 4 tracks that have almost the same average daily purses, and they qualify as upper middle of the road tracks as far as purses go. They're not up there with the Naira circuit or the Santa Anita or Woodbine, tracks that have big daily purses. But this track falls into the upper middle tier. And there are 4 tracks that have about the same, that fall into the same tier. And I'm going to bring it up. I'll bring that up right now after to just give you an example what I'm talking about turf purse sizes. There are 4 tracks, and Turfway is one of them that fall into the same class. Okay, and the last race, how many is here? Even have jockeys in here. Cano is in this race, even in the cheap race. Give us a challenge. 13-horse race again. Unbelievable. Yeah, it is, Rich. This is just a daunting card. Daunting card. Let me bring up this one. I think here's what I'm talking about. Where Turfway Park falls when we talk about Come on. Okay, here. Hang on a second. I got to bring this up. I don't want to do that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now I'm talking about the racetracks by purse size. And I'll give you an idea about that. Sometimes you wonder, some people say, oh, well, this track is bigger than this track. And here are the stats. All right. So we'll talk about the racetracks. Racetracks by purse size. Make sure this is showing up all right. Racetracks by purse size. And here we go. Now here you see Aqueduct, for example, has a daily average daily purse of 597,000. Belmont at the Big A, which is Aqueduct actually. When Aqueduct, they're holding, while Belmont is under construction, they have, the bigger purse races. So their average purse 58,000. Churchill Downs, look at them. Their average daily purse is actually one of the bigger ones, actually bigger, over 1 million with the average medium purse 88,000. Now these are the larger tracks, right? Colonial Downs, okay, they fall in Del Mar. Keeneland, look at this. Keeneland, average purse per race 100,000, 1.8 million, but the biggest, believe it or not, Kentucky Downs 2.2 million. Now they only have a 2-week meet. Monmouth, I'm surprised Monmouth's in there. Santa Anita 635. Saratoga, of course, has huge purses. They're up there. And then you have Woodbine. And now these are the middle of the road purses, between 200,000 and 399,000. And here's where Turfway Park comes into play, and that's the reason I'm showing this in the first place. Now, if you look at the average daily purse, these 4 tracks are almost mirror images of each other. You have right here on top, almost Fairgrounds, 377,000. Gulfstream, 392,000. Fairgrounds, 377,000. And then we go down to Turfway Park, 346,000. So those 4 are right within about $25,000 of each other. You have Gulfstream, Fairgrounds, Parks, 388,000. So that's 3. Fairgrounds, Gulfstream, and Gulfstream Park, which those 5 tracks. So Gulfstream out of those 5 is the highest, followed by Gulfstream, followed by Parks at 388,000, followed by Fairgrounds 377,000, Turfway 346. So that gives you an idea there about the size of these tracks. And so a bunch of them, people wouldn't feel, some people, they say Parks, I'm not going to play that track. Parks, 380, there's only $4,000 difference between Parks and Gulfstream Park, talking purse sizes. Parks has really come a long way in the last few years, really boosting their the quality, the product that they put out there. Then you slip down, you got, on the low end, much lower, Tampa Bay Downs, 202,000. So you can see, although they put some nice fields out there together, they have lower purses. And another track that seems to be on the rise a bit is, Delta Downs, 233,000. Laurel, 385,000. So they're in the same ballpark as Gulfstream, Parks, Turfway, Fairgrounds. Then you got the smaller tracks. Finger Lakes, 166,000 average purse. Emerald Downs, 135,000. Now you have the smaller tracks. Louisiana Downs, only 108,000. Yeah, play at your own risk at those places. Penn National, 163,000. Turf Paradise, 134,000. So you get the idea of what these purse sizes. So Turfway Park there, it's a tremendous track, but the fields that they put together just make for some outrageous payouts. So I'm going to just take a brief look, kind of a scan of this first race here. And what I'm going to do is just scan down the PP and see if anything jumps out at me. Now, this is a $15,000 maiden claiming race. And it's at 6 furlongs. You can see it's challenging right away. Like this number 2 horse, Pittore d'Oro. I mean, ran just a horrible race at a mile. Was quick early and it fell apart. And then the race before that, at the maiden special weight level, it's taking a drop. Ran a very quick race compared to the others. And the race before that was horrible at 6 furlongs, today's distance. So what do you make of it? You know, the trainer is Brian Michael. At Turfway, he's a 15% trainer. Then you got another one that's kind of consistent. And yeah, some of these horses are going up and down. Yeah, but yeah, this is going to be crazy. See, this is just a first look. And I'm curious what that other one, that Petit d'Oro, the one that I said had the really big, actually a race that would probably win this based on the race 2 back, opens 15-1. You say, which one is going to show up, right? Then you have others in there that are race 2, a claiming race 8K. Right off the bat, the 3 is looking good to me compared to the others. It's never run on Tapeta, but it has some really quick regular dirt and turf races. But its last race was a clunker at Penn National for Susan Anderson, who's actually an 18% trainer at Turfway. I right off the bat, I got to see, what are the odds of number 3 in race 2? 12-1. I mean, number 3 right away. If turf usually takes the Tapeta, and it goes for a trainer, Susan Anderson, who going first synthetic, she wins 13% of the time, and going dirt to synthetic, she's 14%. But the numbers blow the door off number 2, who opens at 3-1, and number 3 is 12-1. Now number 4 is 5-2. See, now this one, it has run on the Tapeta. Larry Smith, the trainer, but it hasn't run well on the Tapeta, and that's 5-2. I think that's a very beatable favorite. Of course, there's more I got to look at. I'm just taking it, and I'm going to do the heavy lifting later this morning. But I'm just on here right now, and I figured I'd talk about it and give you an idea what I'm looking at today. Ready, the coffee is cooling off a little bit. I can't believe the 4 is favored there. Let me look at the pace of this race before I go any further, because I'm curious why they're. A lot of quick ones, or 3 quick ones early in here. The 3, the 4 believing. Here's the thing about the 4. They make it 5-2 because it has gotten to the lead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 8 times in a row The last 8 races, it's been in the lead at the first call, but its Tapeta races were not good. And I got to think the three's going to take money because the three's pretty quick early too. And the three doesn't need the lead. It's usually off the lead a bit. At the fastest one early is Vartan, the 7. Now that's an 8-1 shot. Now I'm looking at the second race. And I'm able to remember this stuff when I get in there. Yeah, it has 3 fast. Its last race was a clunker. It used to be trained by Carl Broberg and goes into the hands of Gennaro Garcia. And Garcia, first race after the trainer change, he's 14%. And that was a clunker at 5.5. And it was the pace, fight inside, and faded at the rail, it says. Burnham is the jockey. Getting spotted a lot of weight with the Bug Rider, as is the 8 getting spotted a lot of weight. This is challenging as hell. 9 has been running very fast turf races. What are the odds of 9? 15-1? Okay, I'm going to get away from this for a second. I'm curious who the line maker is there because even at first glance, I'm seeing some opening odds that don't make much sense. Okay, let me heat up this coffee. I'll be back in a few minutes. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I didn't expect anyone to be out here. I just opened the chat just in case somebody had something to say or wanted to ask a question about one of the horses or share an opinion. But I'll be back in just a little bit. Happy Friday, everybody, whoever's out here. Oh, Mike is muted. Rich, I thank you very much. Much appreciated. Merry Christmas, my friend. Very thoughtful of you. And just, I woke up this morning around 3:30, right? And as usual, the first thing on my mind was horses and more specifically, horse racing. And I tried to go back to sleep. It was 3:30, and it was useless. I wasn't going to fall back asleep. So I got up around another 15, 20 minutes later, and threw on a pot of coffee. To be more specific, a Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee. I just brought down the bag. It's supposed to boost mental clarity. And I looked at the tracks, and I landed on Turfway Park. Looked like the best the park. And people on the show have been raving about Turfway Park. Last time I did Turfway Park shows, I loved it. Was back in March, and I said, well, why not? People have been requesting it on the show, and I said, I downloaded all the data, and I figured, let me start looking at it. And now, right here on this, I said, let's go live, and just maybe somebody has some questions about the horses. I didn't expect anyone to be on, so I'm surprised. So early. I went live at 4:30, and here we are. So I landed on Turfway Park for tonight. I'm going to be running around doing some last minute Christmas preps, pick up some stuff. And I said, let's do Turfway Park today. And Rich, thank you so much. And I see Rich has a pick here. Race 2, number 8. Was I talking about that one? Let me bring that up. Yeah, now this is one that's consistent and a renaissance. Has some good turf races, has run decent here at the distance. Getting spotted, a lot of weight. Comes in light, 110 pounds. The jockey is looking for his first win. Summer Pauly. And you see how this one fits with the pace. Race 2, number 8, Summer Pauly. No, the Renaissance. This one's going to have to. This one has shown decent speed. This is a closer, but it ran quick on turf the last few early. I mean, it took the lead at the first call, 2-3 back. Was running a half length off at the quarter at mile and 16th. But on turf, here at Turfway Park, it's running it ran as quick as it actually ran, if you include the run-up time, a 21.99 first call. And this one comes off the lead. But one thing I've noticed about this track is they come off the lead here, early speed. I mean, there's so many times they're coming for home and they're closing, because I guess turf the Tapeta surface is similar in way to turf. So you got a lot of these horses that come late and like a cavalry charge as they come towards the finish line. So early speed doesn't mean as much at a place like this. I see a lot of closers in here coming. So this should be an interesting race. The ones that caught my eye in this race, again, I want to see, it looked number 3, Bundle of Joy, and the other one, Vart, let me see, number 3 has some early speed, and Abby Snow White 5 is very consistent, has won 3 of 5. And the other one is a turf horse, Translate, number 9. It's an 18% jock, and I'm going to be looking at 3 and 9. I'm just curious about the odds makers here. Number 9 opens 15 to 1. So it's a 12 to 1 and a 15 to 1, at least by the numbers that they put up on turf. They have a good shot to hit the board for, these show players out there that maybe they're a little overwhelmed. And opening odds of your number 8, Rich, is 10 to 1. You're getting a price there. And I'm just astounded that the 4 is the opening favorite at 5 to 2, and even the 2 at 3 to 1. I'd be surprised if the 2 and the 4 are around. 2 especially. At Turfway Park, the last time it ran there, it won last race at 7.5K, but even then, there's others with faster numbers. The 1 even opens for Jesus Esquivel, has fast turf races. Its dirt races are slow, and its Tapeta races, that's the problem. The Tapeta races, Turfway Park races were slow. It has a few turf races that are quick. You know who looks really dangerous in this race? It's been running route races, but had good numbers, including a couple fast ones on the Tapeta. Oh, that's race 3. I'm just looking at the third race here. Yeah, I think the 2 looks like a good race to take a shot with some. Abby's White Snow is a nice contender. Gerald Brooks, the trainer, 25 on 1 for 4 with the jockey, Fernando de la Cruz. But the numbers are very consistent, and it fits the race. It's been running at Trek Isle. I want to see the odds on 5, 10 to 1. Okay. Looking at the third, just getting an idea before I get started to start taking notes. But, I got an idea now, at least, of what looks interesting. 3 1 mile, 3-year-olds claiming 7,500, race 3. I'm scanning here. When I mean I'm scanning, what I'm doing is looking through the I have the Brisnet PPs. I'm scanning the Thorograph numbers, the Thorograph sheets, and I have them set up in such a way that I can see the numbers at a glance and scan through them quickly. So just to get an idea. And then, of course, I'll look deeper at it. Number 10, Golden Text, has some really nice races at Turfway. It's a 5-year-old, but those nice races, they were back in right around this time. It actually, God, it was running its quick races in 2022. That's almost a year ago. It hasn't been the same since an 84-day layoff. I'm curious what the odds are on 3. No, not 3, number 10. Golden Text, 8 to 1. 8 to 1. Gun Leather Owl. Maybe I should play that one. Number 8 favored, 3 to 1. Now, these are cheap ones in the third race, 7.5K entries. It's going second off the layoff. Now, number 5 blows away gun leather Al, but it's been off 328 days, and it's dropping from the claiming 30K level down to 7.5K. And this trainer, Richard Esvanko, he's 14% with droppers when they're away from the track 90 days plus. He doesn't have many to show there. That's the problem here. The trainer, only 3%, 1 win in 31 tries with a 0.13 ROI. And it's a 4-year-old. We'll have to look closer at that. Let me look at the works on this one. Now I go to the Brisnet here for this. Mid-Atlantic. Workouts, very slow. December 6th, 5 furlongs at 104, 13th out of 13. But on November 18th, had a workout. Listen to this. Third out of 109, 4 furlongs and 47 and 1. Now, it looks like this trainer, Esvanko, is working. Esvanko, by the way, is 0 for 16 at this meet so far, and the jockey is 0 for 7, but it's a 19% jockey overall. 0 for 7. It has a second and a third. It seems like this trainer is working this one quick and then slow, quick and then slow, because if we go before the 47 and 1 on November 18th, a week before on November 11th, 84th out of 124, 4 furlongs and 49 and 3. Before that, quicker again, 12 out of 35, 37 and 4. Interesting. But this one, remember, this one is making the big drop, 30K down to 7.5K. And this trainer, when they drop 2 classes, is 18%. Who else looks good in this race? And now we go back to Thorograph. Um, 11 has never run on Tapeta. Then you got that Golden Text I mentioned that was running very fast earlier in the year at Turfway Park. And since then, it's changed trainers twice. Ran at a 15K level. That's now 8-1. But if you go by number 10 Golden Text, if this one can dig a little bit deep, it was quick to the front last time, and it gave in at 1:16. But the trainer, Robert Lee Clark, really not that familiar, 8% at Turfway Park in 24 starts. But get this, in 24 starts, 8%. But get this, 8%, but with an ROI of 3.52. So he hits with some bombs. Claimers down in class, only 4% out of 23. Interesting, but if he runs back to the races in February, it's a contender here. Now I'm going to look at let's just look at the pace for race 3. Yeah, Golden Text, that 10 is going to be one of the front runners. 10 is a proverbial front runner. The 10's probably going to be running out front. It's probably going to have a sizable lead. But here's the thing. It used to run quick opening fractions. And in its first race back, it did take the lead, but it ran over a 24-second opening quarter. Whereas between December of 2022 and February of 2023, it was averaging between just under sub 22 and 9 opening quarter and 23 and 4. And it was taking the lead all the time. And it did take the lead last race. But that was a mile 16. I expect the 10 to be out front in the third race. Now we'll take a look at the 4. Just getting an idea here. This early jump. And I'll go live. I figure I'll go live about 5:30. And so there's plenty of time between look these over, take notes, put together my picks, think about my plays. Then you got to see the scratches. The nice thing about this track is they don't scratch that often. Now, fourth race is a 2-year-old race. 12 entries. That's at this track, I see 12 entries and I say, oh, it's a smaller field. Okay. Let me just scan through these. This is an optional claim 50K race. One never has no experience on the Tapeta. Now, at first asking, the 2 ran in a maiden claiming race for Wayne Minnock. And first try at Tapeta, won by 4 lengths, broke slow, ran onto the turn, sustained bid, and tons the best, won by 4. So I'm curious what the odds of the 4. It ran a nice race. Actually, had been running on dirt. Now, the thing with this is it had the strong finish after a slow start, Midnight Storm. And its dirt races were horrible. It had been running at Churchill Downs. And this horse exploded when they put it on the Tapeta. Number 2, Midnight Storm, race 4. Opens 20-1. I'm curious to see what the others look like. Give you an idea that number 4 opens 3-1, and it didn't run, all considered, as fast as the 2, which is 20-1. Now, Brad Cox has an entry in number 6. Oh, Gorilla Trek. Okay, that's a turf horse. Number 5 is the one I was just talking about. That number 5 opened. Okay, that one's 20-1 too. Number 4 opens 5-2. It's been running around allowance. It did last race on dirt, the first 2 on turf. It did run at Keeneland in October in a G1. So I guess they figure it's out of Curlin. Brad Cox has the 6, has a very fast dirt race, winning by 6 at Ellis Park. 2 back. That one opens 5-2. The question there is, how is it going to Tapeta? Axel Concepcion, the jockey, 20%. And Cox and Axel together, they're 40%, 4 for 10. Now, this is a mile. The longest this one ever ran was 6. And ran a real clunker at 6 furlongs, finishing 9th, 17 back. There's opportunities here. There's number 7, Mena, has some decent races, 5-1. They were all on dirt, though. Yeah, what gets me about this race, Brandon Walsh has number 3 here at 5-1. Let's take a look at that 3 again. See, I don't get it. For example, the 2 opens 20-1, and it really ran a very good Tapeta race on December 1st, winning here. And it ran wide too, so it's kind of a concealed number. Ran 4 wide. Now this 2, that's probably it. So the Brisnet number is slow, but the Thurgraph number is very fast on this 2. And that would explain it, because they take into account ground loss and wind. And this one last time broke from post position 8, and so this time keeps the same jockey, Ramos. So he's going to be riding this one a second time, and they should be able to save ground if they can straighten it out. And breaking from the inside post should help with that. Woodcourt, yeah, number 3. I think 5 is very interesting. It has gotten the mile. Take it and run. It's another 20-1 shot. And the 4, the favorite, has never run on the all-weather surface. Has very consistent numbers. Has run in a G2. You know it can get the distance. It's been running at a mile and a 16th. Let's go back to the pace for a second here. Yeah, it's a closer. And take it and run that 5. That one should be in the mix. And I think the 5 is very interesting, along with the 2. Okay, move to the 5th here. Now this one, race 5, has 12 entries, but they also have 2 AEs also eligible. So I think okay. And there's only 3 starters that have raced. So you're looking at 9. If there aren't any scratches, there are 9 first-time starters. And 2 starters only have 1 start, the 3 and the 5. And the 10 has 4 starts, has never raced on the Tapeta. It looks like it's close to the lead every time. 3 times it was running second at the first call. Once it was running first. Okay, the one with experience has never run on. It's William Cowan's number 3. Horrible race. It's a maiden special weight. Number 5 has never run on Tapeta. Finished 3rd. And you got Brad Cox with a big first-time starter. And Brad Cox, he's 20%, first time out with 2-year-olds, maiden special weight, 20% out of 644 races. Michael Stidham has the one with the early speed, but is it going to have speed on the dirt and on the synthetic? First time synthetic though, Stidham is 22%. And going dirt to synthetic, he's also 22%. And this is covering hundreds of races. So he knows how to get them ready. I'm just curious about the odds on the ones with experience. These are experience. Again, Brad Cox, first-time starter, dangerous. Let's see, the 10 and the 10 is significantly faster than, say, the 5 or the 3. I would almost toss the 3 and the 5. What happened to the 3? It was fading. So in this race, I'd look for the start. I'd check out the workouts and look at first time. The 10, the one with Stidham, with the early speed, opens 5-2. You know, the other one with experience, 3, 15-1. These two look significantly slower. They're no win candidates, or 5, 20-1. So I'm going to head out for now and start getting ready to start the day and get back to the handicapping here. So look for a show tonight. It's probably start around 5:30. Post time 5:55, and I'll be going over these races with a fine tooth comb before then, and I'll see you then. So have a great start to the day, everybody, and I'll talk with you later. Hope you can join us.